Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 249 of Bill Man the Sport Guys podcast. I'm your host, Bill Man the Sports Guy. Always remember for the latest weekly news of the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, college sports, WNBA, this is the podcast to be. All right. First topic we're going to talk about lockout. Major League Baseball, good chance they're going to go to a lockout in 2027. I hope not, because I think this is going to be very bad. That we're not going to have any baseball in 2027 if that does end up being the case. Bruce Meyer, the executive director of Major League Baseball Players Association, stated this. The Major League Baseball pretty much already said there's going to be a lockout. I would be shocked if they didn't do a lockout when the agreement expires, which ends on December 1st. Now, honestly, part of the reason, and one of the biggest reasons that both sides are arguing, is salary cap. The owners want a salary cap. The players don't. The players think it's stupid to have a salary cap floor, and I'm basically on their side with that. I think it is going to stink because you're going to ask superstars like Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Ronald Acuna Jr., Pete Crow Armstrong. You're going to even ask Paul Skenes. You're going to even ask Mike Trout. You are going to ask Adley Rushman, Bryce Harper, Trey Turner. Let's go with Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Freddie Freeman. How about Rafael Devers? How about Alex Bregman? Also, they're not going to want to take a salary cap pay cut because that means more greedy ego-ness from the owners. And in general, I just think it's stupid. I could maybe see them go in a similar way to when the NHL last had their lockout in the 2012-2013 season, which was basically this. The owners wanted 57% of revenue, but then they got it down to 50-50. But then they wanted the new contract year length cut down to 4, which would have been incredibly dumb. Could you imagine today's stars too? Sidney Crosby, Austin Matthews, Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, Cale Makar, Jack Hughes, even Andrei Svetnikov, even Nikita Kucherov. Could you imagine stars like them trying to sign a new contract for 4 years? That would be pretty crazy and kind of dumb. But they did get the new contract length when it expires to 8 years on contract extensions, 7 years on new contracts, and then they got the floor to 44. The cap hit 60 million. Then there's a 50% variance in salaries over course mandatory acceptance to buyout contracts that do not fit under salary cap. So I just generally think it'll be stupid if we do get a salary cap because then it really messes up some of the young stars like Paul Skeens, Pete Crow Armstrong, Colson Montgomery, James Wood. When it's their turn to get a new contract, that's really going to mess up. And I think depending on how they do, they're going to be worth a lot more. So, do I think we're going to have a lockout? Sadly, yes. Hopefully, not a full season. Even if we get what, maybe 60 games or 100 games, awesome. I just hope the lockout is not during the full season. That would really stink. And and come to think of it, it would stink for podcasters like me, Foul Territory, Draftneck Mark, who does the Wind Up podcast. It'll even mess up creators like Fuzzy, the Bull Banter in Baseball. I like their work. Go give them a follow. And, also go check out Foul Territory podcast because baseball is the way baseball needs to be told. And it's the way it should be. And honestly, then there's going to be no content and we're going to be bored. You know what I mean? Without any baseball. Baseball is a part of our lives. So is football. So is soccer. So is basketball. So is lacrosse. So is hockey. My point is, when we don't have a sport in the entire season, what's going to happen? We're going to be bored. And I'm sure going to be bored out of my mind if we don't have baseball during 2027. Heck, I'm not sure what I'm even going to do with myself. So I hope we don't have a lockout. But at the same time, I do think it's really stupid to have a salary cap because you have teams like the Dodgers, the Mets, the Phillies. They're so aggressive and spend money. But then you have cheap teams. Like, unfortunately, my Chicago White Sox, well, these past two off seasons, we've been reasonable, but we're one or two teams to not spend $100 million on a player. That's embarrassing. The Pittsburgh Pirates, they're a joke. The Colorado Rockies, do they even know what spending money means? They're probably just too busy watching SpongeBob for all we know, because they don't even know how to spend $100+ million. And the Nationals, they're currently not money spent, which makes sense. The Los Angeles Angels are so insane with their money. Like, it's like they're trying to be the Dodgers 2.0, where they're not in reality. So the the problem is every team needs to be better. What the Dodgers are doing is perfect. I have no problem with it. But teams just need to be better at spending money. Some teams do a good job, some teams do a trash job at it. So that's really where I stand. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on Twitter at Billman Sports, Instagram at Billman Sports Guy, and here on YouTube at Billman Sports Guy. All right, couple other baseball news to talk about. Check that. We actually have three. Let's go to the other biggest baseball news that have happened this week, which is Detroit Tigers pitcher Tarek Skubal and Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher Paul Skenes. Both of them are going to pitch in the pool rounds, which basically means the later rounds in the World Baseball Classic. The idea is for Skubal to pitch for one game. Skenes is going to pitch at least two. And part of the reason for both is the timing, with the World Baseball Classic supposed to start March 4th and goes to March 22nd. And the regular season starts March 25th, but then we get a full day of baseball March 26th. So March 25th, March 26th is technically when it really starts. And it makes sense. I can understand, especially from Tarek Skubal's point of view, because Tarek Skubal is making $32 million this season, and he will be a free agent. So, and then the other one, well, actually, let's go with Skubal stats really quick. Tarek Skubal in 195 innings went 13-6 with a 2.21 ERA, won back-to-back Cy Young awards. Also, he struck out 241 batters. He only walked 33 batters and gave 141 hits. Only 48 earned runs, which is pretty good. 18 home runs. Woo. And honestly, I think Skubal's one of the best pitchers in baseball. And it makes sense why he's going to pitch one game. But also with Paul Skenes, who is doing amazing, who's an amazing pitcher. Paul Skenes, if I could actually go to his stats, I don't know why it's not popping up. There we go. He went 10-10 with a 1.97 ERA. So obviously, he's kept his ERA at under 2, which is actually very impressive. And career ERA wise, 1.96. So that's even more impressive. Now, in his third season, that's going to be interesting to see how he does. Then Skenes, check that, also made an all-star. Played 32 games. He pitched 187 innings, did give up 41 earned runs, 11 home runs, which is one more than he did in his rookie year. And he walked 10 more batters at 42, and he went with a record of 10-10. So, also, Skenes is making $875 million, or not million, but like thousand for this season. And he's eligible for arbitration around 2027, which obviously his salary cap's going to increase. So Skenes is making league minimum right now. Skubal's making 32 because Skubal is a free agent this season. Skenes won't be first eligible free agent until 2029 or 2030. So Pirates have control of him for 4 more years, which knowing Bob Nutting, he's going to completely lowball Paul Skenes. And we're all going to be like, what the heck? Trust me. Anyway, on overall, I think it makes sense because one, they're two of the best pitchers in baseball. And also, we don't want to see him get hurt. Both of them, actually. And also, I think, especially for Skubal, since not only is he the best left-handed pitcher in baseball, but he is also going to be a free agent at the end of this season. So I think it makes sense. And let's see if Team USA will still pull off and win the World Baseball Classic. Now, for the next topic, honestly, we have two signings. Our first one is Starling Marte. He signed a 1-year deal with the Kansas City Royals. Now, in terms of money, like that has not been announced. And it's a fine contract. Starling Marte had an OPS at around, I think it was 745, trying to remember off the top of my head. Yeah, 745 OPS, 9 homers, 34 RBIs, 270. He had a 335 on base, 410 slugging. So honestly, I'm fine with this contract. Now, it hasn't been made official, but they're working on an agreement. And I think this is a fine contract, to be honest. I think Marte, he's still a really solid player. Is he the flashy player that he once was? No. Do I think he's a very good veteran for this young Kansas City Royals team? Absolutely. And I think he could easily be a good veteran teacher for all the young outfielders out there in the Kansas City Royals. So I like this move a lot. Now, the other move I want to talk about is Alex Verdugo just signed a minor league deal with the San Diego Padres. So hope he makes the Padres roster this season. And Verdugo didn't really had a good year. He batted like under 200 with the Atlanta Braves, did not even hit a home run, and to the point later where he got DFA'd. So, yeah, I think this will be a proven deal. And if he does well in the Padres AAA system, he'll be up in the major leagues with the San Diego Padres. So I'm rooting for Alex Verdugo. Hope he has a really good 2026 season. Now, on to the last topic for today, which is an NFL topic. Indianapolis Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson has requested a trade. Now, the Colts sure look like they're planning to bring back Daniel Jones, whether they put a new contract or a franchise tag. Now, Richardson's return seemed unlikely as long as that's the case. The former number 4 overall pick won the starting job as a rookie, but saw a season end after only 4 starts, and he was benched in 2024 after throwing 8 touchdowns and 12 interceptions across 11 starts. Richardson lost the competition with Daniel Jones last season, and he couldn't replace Jones after the torn Achilles because he was recovering from an eye injury suffered in a workout accident, and he's still only heading into his age 24 season with a booming arm. Richardson's raw tools will draw interest, but whether he'll get a chance to compete for a starting job is very much questionable. Richardson will be a free agent after 2026 if his fifth-year option isn't picked up. And to be honest, Anthony Richardson has not lived up to his potential. I don't want to label him in the bust category, but I'm almost basically going to put him there. Now, do I think he'll get traded by the Colts? Somewhat yes and somewhat no. Part of it's likely, part of it's not. I just don't think Richardson has proved to be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And he's been injury prone ever since getting drafted by the Colts. Do I think he needs a new change, new scenery? Yes. Will he be able to compete for a starting job and possibly bounce back and become a quarterback? That's really a we'll see. Because, Richardson, if he doesn't do well, then he'll be out of the NFL. And I just don't think he's done enough. Even his stats tell as well. So, what team will he go to? The Jets, the Cleveland Browns, the Cincinnati Bengals, depending on if Joe Burrow plays or not this season. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they could take a look at him. Same with the New York Giants. So, even the Jacksonville Jaguars I'll add. Even the Miami Dolphins or the Arizona Cardinals. So, let me know your thoughts on where will Richardson go and what could the Colts get in return, or if the Colts do decide to release him, which I believe they can. And I think they probably will, if probably not before the season, but most likely during or after the season. So this does recap episode number 249 of Bill Man the Sport Guys podcast. I'm your host, Bill Man the Sports Guy. Always remember, for the latest weekly news on the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, college sports, WNBA, this is the podcast to be. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Stay tuned for episode number 250. Wow. Peace.